Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. You know, it's Yoloswaggleton. You guys were kind of wilding on my last video yesterday. You know, uh, please don't dislike. Um, so anyway, I want to discuss something a little different today. As I was looking through my library of games I haven't played yet, I came across a game that I downloaded a long time ago called Warface. And to be honest, I wasn't entirely sure what exactly the premise of this game was, other than the fact that it did gain a little bit of popularity by the time Call of Duty World War II released. Then after playing a match, like my very first match, I kind of realized it's kind of basically a free-to-play Call of Duty. Now, the general disappearance of this game from mainstream gaming popularity is kind of bizarre to me, to say the least. Because, I mean, hypothetically speaking, a free-to-play Call of Duty that provides a more grounded and faithful experience than, honestly, any of the original Call of Duty, I mean, the more recent entries of the franchise, like, can provide, sounds like a Christmas miracle to me, honestly, and probably to the rest of the community, or anyone that can't afford a full-price COD game, because, I mean, those $60, you know, doesn't come cheap, really. I mean, I'd rather just be buying, like, I don't know, Fortnite skins or something, but anyway, so realistically, this game should have been like a massive success. So what exactly went wrong? And I kind of just decided to play for a little bit to see if I could figure that out for myself. And to be honest, this game seems pretty serviceable with a wide selection of guns, a decently sized community, you know, several game modes, including, like, you know, the standards such as free-for-all, team deathmatch, and oh look, battle royale. But if you couldn't already tell, this game does has like its flaws. Of course, like, it does borrow a lot from Call of Duty, if you couldn't tell already, and kind of CS:GO. I can kind of see elements of CS:GO in this, but of all the things you borrow from Call of Duty, why would you ever mimic the spawns? Like, I actually find it more impressive that they managed to make an even worse spawning system than Call of Duty, with dedicated spawn rooms instead of spawn flipping mechanics like Call of Duty has. An example of that, if you're not sure what I mean, is Overwatch. It's another example of like a game that utilizes dedicated spawn rooms. The difference between those two games is that in Overwatch you can't die in your spawn room. You're more or less invincible. But in this game, you can actually walk into a spawn room. So that clearly makes spawn camping a major issue, and I think in this gameplay here, I do actually run into a spawn. I do get swept a bit, but you know, if someone like has a pretty standard setup, I mean, you can pretty much lay out their spawn. But admittedly, the gameplay provides a surprising amount of fun. Honestly, like, I had a lot of fun playing this mainly because it was a new experience. But it's pretty basic and a generally grounded first-person shooter, which is what I would say the Call of Duty community has been yearning for quite a while in the recent installments of the franchise. But like, another thing that you kind of guys just saw, I don't know if I really mentioned it in the gameplay, but it provides a really interesting game mechanics. I haven't really seen that much. Like, I've seen it before, but it's not that common, where you can actually help different teammates climb areas that are too high to jump alone, which kind of emphasizes, like, teamwork than Call of Duty really ever did. It's like kind of like in Call of Duty, you just lay out and just try to get more kills than your teammates and, like, try to win together against enemies. But this does, like, promote teamwork, and I do enjoy that a lot. But the biggest problem with this is the game really doesn't play very fluidly at all. Like, it often stutters in movement and only implements a really smooth sliding animation. No other animation is quite smooth. And as you see there, I feel like shots don't really register, but it could be my lack of understanding of the hitboxes in the game. I'm not really sure. But one thing that does really bother me that I think could get fixed, and should get fixed, I guess is the proper saying, is the regeneration of, like, health mechanic. It's just so slow, and it's like the fact that only your shield regens, as you can see from the HUD on the bottom right of the screen, you can see that there's a shield and health. Only your shield regens, I believe. Otherwise, that's all I've seen. I haven't seen the health regen. And it really punishes the player for getting into, like, a plethora of gunfights, unlike COD. And it really discourages, like, the Slayer playstyle that I really enjoy doing in Call of Duty. But the game is quite serviceable, honestly. Like, it's a shame this game really didn't get the limelight it deserved. I'd say the most problematic feature that kind of stopped this game from growing and what it could have been is how unfriendly it really is to newer players. There's a lot of grinding to get better weapons, and in the beginning it really offers just a really small selection of gun variety. Now, I'm not saying guns, because Call of Duty has a low amount of guns too, but gun variety, you see. Because I currently in this game have 3 semi-auto snipers, and I haven't run into a single bolt-action sniper yet, which in my opinion, bolt-action snipers are far superior than semi-auto. So, there's no variety there. Like, they should have at least offered, 1 bolt and 2 semi-auto, but, the fact that I have 3 semi-auto, it's kind of, it makes it, less, it makes the game have less variety for beginners. Obviously, there are bolt-action snipers in the game, and I picked one up, and they do feel really smooth, and I wish I could play with them more. But, unfortunately, in my class, I just have 3 semi-auto snipers. I don't know if it's, a gamble type system, if I'm supposed to have, that little, amount, that same amount of snipers, those 3, or if everyone gets them, I don't know, maybe I could have got a bolt, but I just don't know how to play the game right. But, I mean, for all, what I could tell, it's not really, easy to understand, how I'm able to get bolt action, which is another issue with, being a new player and all stuff. It doesn't really quite explain how I could achieve these guns. I just kind of got them, I started with 1 gun and I ended up with 3 semi-auto snipers, and, an AUG, and another AR that I can't remember. But I'd say the fact that it's not really too kind to new players is kind of the biggest reason it fell into irrelevancy. And the fact that this abomination of a character model exists. But overall, I feel this game is at least worth a shot, and it's really quite enjoyable to play because it reflects the classic style of Call of Duty that everyone knows and loves. But I shouldn't say does, because it kind of isn't that relevant anymore, but it did struggle to compete against more fleshed out free-to-play games such as Fortnite and Warframe, and etc. All those new popping off free-to-play games, even Realm Royale. But I don't have a high opinion of Realm Royale either. But it does have its software limitations and dated graphics, which is why this game didn't blossom into its full potential as it could have. And in comparison to how I would rate other games, how I even had the audacity to rate, what people call a masterpiece, such as Psychonauts, which I did enjoy, and I probably would bump up higher in my rating originally, but I give that game a 7 out of 10. So, realistically, I would say, I'd say Warface would get a solid 3 out of 10. Which isn't me just trying to discourage people from playing the game and saying, hey, this game is bad. I don't think a 3 out of 10 is actually a terrible score, even though that implies it's a failure. I really, realistically, I couldn't have the heart to give a game a 10 out of 10 unless it was truly perfect. Now, to compare something else, I'd probably give a game like God of War for PS4 a 9 out of 10, because I just see that game as absolutely fleshed out perfect. So, and Psychonauts getting a 7, so 3 out of 10 just means it doesn't reach its potential, but it's not a bad game. Once again, I did have fun with it. After this recording, I might hop on it again, It's kind of just mindless fun where you just shoot people and it works well. It just works. I'd hate to sound like the Fallout developers. It just works. Also, to compare, I'd probably give Fortnite a smacking 0 out of 10, because I hate that game, but I wouldn't even discourage people from playing it. So, yeah, I hope you guys at least give this game a shot. I just wanted to cover this game because it kind of just felt weird to me how this game didn't get popular when it pretty much gave us everything we probably could have asked for, like a free-to-play COD game. What can go wrong, when people dislike a COD game, it's probably because it had that $60 label attached to it, and they felt like they wasted their money. This kind of gives the same experience, but, it's free. So, I just thought this was a bizarre case of a game, and I feel like, I don't know, it didn't get, the fair shot it deserved, but then after playing it, I kind of realized Fortnite is pretty much the only reason this game didn't really get to blossom what it could have been, because Fortnite is just simply the superior game in most aspects, really. I don't really know anything this game does better than Fortnite, but, I mean, I think this game could have had the potential to be popular, if Fortnite wasn't a thing. But, alright, just wanted to cover this game. I just wanted to do a little bit of a different video for today. This has been Yoloswaggleton. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and peace out.